And welcome back.
Yes. Now, one photographer can tell 1,000 words to the viewer, whether it is to inspire, to cheer you up, or even give you the itch to pack up your bags and travel. Now, great photos can convey more emotion than just words.
Yes, our guest today is a marketeer by profession, but his real interest lies in photography. He's been highly featured in international publications like the BBC and National Geographic. And we have Mohsin Abrar with us today. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm quite good, but I'll do good morning in the Indonesian way. Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
That's right. You did it very, very right. Now, okay, so this morning I saw your pictures, yeah? Your pictures on you were on National Geography, and then you were on BBC as well. And you can tell that it's so colorful. But before we get into that, tell us, how did you actually get into photography? You are a marketer, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a profession, right? Yeah.
So I'll tell you something. It started roughly around 4 years ago in a very interesting way. When I moved to Dubai from India, I saw everyone carrying big lenses. I thought I should have one.
Right.
And then I got one of the big lenses and I didn't know how to use them. So reached out to a couple of friends on Skype. Can you help me with that? And it didn't work out well. So then a bit of outing with friends, YouTube.
Learning by doing.
Learning by doing. Yeah, that is what it took me to where I am now.
But so it's autodidact, yeah? You learned it all on your own. Did you have any help from, any like
other photographers?
Or any other photographers?
Look, other photographers do inspire me a lot. There are a lot of good work. There are a lot of good people who do amazing photography work. So I sometimes happen to go out with them, learn with them, and then also try to see how it can be improvised.
Yeah, and if you look at his pictures, it's more into a lot of landscape. I noticed there were a lot of also there's this face of this lady on National Geography, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll get into that one later. But when you take pictures, you can't just people call you amateur photographer, obviously, because you're not a professional photographer, right? But when you look at the pictures, it's all in the right composition. It's all
it looks
perfect.
Like a professional.
It looks like a professionally done, and it's also edited after that. And how long did it actually take for you to be able to, produce such nice pictures, professional-looking pictures?
In the first place, thank you very much for appreciating the work. So, look, initially I struggled like anyone would have. So, in the first 2 years, I didn't make any great... I made images, but not to my satisfaction. Till the time I made one image in Tuscany, in Italy, which I was dreaming since a long time, and it was featured in Nat Geo. So, when it got featured in the top travel photographs in Nat Geo, that is where I started getting more motivated and started working towards...
but how did you get that process of, having that result into the National Geographic,
How were you found? Discovered, that's the word.
What happens is, we have in our day roughly around 3 to 4 hours, which basically shapes us, apart from our work. So we work 8 hours, then we rest for 8 hours, and then we have around 3 to 4 hours where we really spend time with ourselves. Now that is what is important. Where do you spend the time on? So I focus that I should spend the time on photography and National Geographic, because if you have to be called as a decent photographer, then you should be recognized by National Geographic. So I pursued, interacting with them through a travel contest that they have every year. And within the travel contest, I applied this picture, which I call Seraphic, from Italy. Within travel, and then I happened to make it in the top 100.
But since your work is in the National Geographic, would you call yourself a professional photographer?
Not yet. Not yet.
Why is that? Why?
Look, in photography, we differentiate amateur and photographer in one simple way, that amateur don't take money for their work and professionals do.
Oh, right.
So that's a fundamental difference. So still, I don't charge money for the work that I do, because I do out of sheer passion. So I still prefer to be called amateur.
But any plans to someday become a professional photographer?
Not yet. The reason being...
Is there any calling, it's like, hey, come to the world of photography,
Look, I love doing photography. The only reason I don't want to do professional photography is that I can't work under stress. I can't work under deadlines, because I feel that creativity comes when you're a bit open, when you start looking things in your own way, rather than being directed to looking at things from a different perspective. So that's the reason I prefer still to be
more into a stress relief kind of way, like a hobby.
A hobby, basically.
Like, when you're under pressure at the office, being a photographer or taking pictures is just like a stress relief.
Stress out,
But how do you balance between work and, traveling around to actually take pictures?
Let me tell you one crazy thing. So I was based in Dubai a year ago, And then I recall in Sapa, which is in Vietnam,
Okay.
almost the corner,
On top of the mountain, the
Vietnam,
cold, the cold, yeah.
They told they have very good photography there.
Okay.
Yes.
So in Dubai, we have weekends on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So Thursday night, I flew out of Dubai,
Relative-
reached Ho Chi Minh City,
Vietnam, yeah,
then Hanoi, then took a train to Sapa. Friday morning, I was in Sapa, shot and got back again Sunday. to work.
Wow.
So you do it on the weekends, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Weekends,
so-
which is a Friday and a
And it
Saturday
can
there.
go as crazy as this, but mostly it's over the weekend and in the evenings or in the mornings where it doesn't.
So your
get
weekend moment is like where you want to find your inner peace, or you want to find, you're passionate about is.
Yeah.
What is one of the craziest thing that you've done? Like, for example, you said you went to Vietnam. Any other places that, okay, for the weekend I'm going to go to, maybe to Alaska, maybe to take some great pictures?
No,
any,
not that.
any,
Not-
any
Not
stories?
that as of now. The only so Vietnam was the most crazy
Okay.
story I had. There's one more in Tuscany. So I was always inspired by a movie called as Gladiator.
Yeah.
Of Russell
Yeah,
Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
So if you imagine, there was remember the scene in which they burn off his house and
Yes.
it's plundered.
Right, in
But
Tuscany.
I always imagine that that's a beautiful place and it
Right.
can be photographed in a very different perspective than what it was shown in the movie. So I was in Italy, Florence,
Yeah.
doing some work, and then I remember over the weekend, why not drive
Go
down to
to-
Tuscany?
yeah.
Tuscany.
So and then I drove down to Tuscany,
Right.
which was not familiar to the terrain, but still
Right.
it was fun. Shot that image over a day and then came back next day to work.
So how did you feel whenever you
spontaneous.
imagine yourself watching movie Gladiator or back then, and you being in that position right now, you're taking pictures. How did you feel?
Look, it's a different experience altogether because
Okay.
what imposes on you is most probably the movie or a scene.
Right.
But what you create an impression to others is what,
It's a
as an
different kind
artist,
of
you
way.
want to show. Okay, so what I saw was a rundown, burnt image of the place. But what I showed was a very beautiful, surreal morning image of the
Right.
whole thing.
And you do landscaping, yeah, mostly on landscaping, photography, you call that, right? And with landscaping, obviously requires you to travel around, as you
Yeah.
mentioned just now. But how do you familiarize yourself with a location? Do you do research, or apart from Tuscany, where you just spontaneously drove down, all your other places that you've been to?
Look, I've traveled to around 40 countries till now.
40 countries.
That's
And
Wow.
I travel to, I intend to travel to the rest at least 100.
And done during the weekends, right? Done during the weekends, yeah?
Mostly during the weekends and my vacations.
That's a good way.
Weekend well spent, you would
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
And,
if you need an assistant, you let us know, all right?
There's one thing, I don't believe in research.
Okay.
The reason being, the moment you do research, you go on to Google, you go on, reach out to your friends. And
Right.
in that scenario, what happens, you go to landed places which are very planned. So you don't get images which are a bit different and not run of the mill.
Okay.
So what I do is I land in a location and then
Spontaneously.
start venturing out on my own.
So just go spontaneously, just
Yeah.
go walk wherever wherever the earth takes you. And
Yeah, so I drive, I trek, and then reach out to a place which can be interesting and then shoot the picture and come
has
back.
there been any interesting place where you go to a country, you have, a language barriers to communicate, hey, I want to go to, to a mountain, or I want to go to a forest. Has any experience?
The best experience has been in Indonesia. So I was in Yogyakarta and I wanted to shoot the Goa Jomblang caves.
Okay.
And those are pretty interior. And the people are very nice here, very loving, very warm, but language is sometimes doesn't
Barrier.
work towards your
Yeah,
favor. So I had to go 3 days in a row
Okay.
to get the shot of Joa Jomblang which I wanted to finally
Right,
shoot.
right.
Yeah.
And you managed to finally get a
I
really...
managed to finally know a person who can speak decent English.
Okay.
Finally, experience in Indonesia.
Yes.
Now, after this, we have a list of all the beautiful photographs that we have taken, and there is a story behind that. Yeah, Mohsin, if I'm not yeah, but we're going to go for a short break
We're
now.
gonna go
When
for a
we
short
come
break.
back, we have Mohsin to explain more about the story behind his pictures.
Yes. Don't go anywhere.
This.
And
right,
welcome back, still with Mohsin Abrar.
Yes, and obviously we have a lot to talk about since just now,
sure.
right? And okay, we managed to see a lot of pictures just now before the break, right? And there were a few photographs that actually look like paintings. You know, we were actually curious to find out. Was that edited or
no,
how?
So I'm a naturalist, I'm a purist, and I feel that God has created wonderful nature. And you should not, as an artist, tinker with nature.
Right.
So I don't believe in editing and post-processing my picture a lot. I do increase the color contrast or manage the colors, but not beyond that, because that's against my professional ethics.
So when we look at it right now on the screen right here, this is not Photoshop, you know, or this is what's happening. This is
real photography.
Can you tell us a bit about this?
You took it from the...
So that image is off the coast of Dubai.
Okay.
So that had been shot from a helicopter. And what I wanted to show in there was that the beauty of the land and the sea, because Dubai is known for its modern architecture, its glamour, it's like all beautiful things. But Dubai has a lot more many beautiful things apart from this in terms of nature. So that's what was reflected
this one,
in this image.
The land
and this image really
you know,
travel places. It was featured in National Geographic, it was featured in Google Momentum, and a couple of more magazines.
How long did it take for you to actually produce? How many shots did you have to take to get the perfect shot of that?
I have taken almost 10 shots.
10 shots only?
10 shots, yeah, because I'm not a random clicker, because I know this is, in the digital era, there's a lot of digital junk. And you keep on shooting a lot of images.
That's
click,
true.
click, click,
Like
click.
45,
one for Instagram, one for Snapchat, and one for Facebook.
That's true, yeah.
And I believe the lesser you shoot, the better content you produce.
Why is that?
The reason being, once you go back to your home, the shooting time can be 20% or 30%. But the screening and the selection of the picture takes a lot of time.
That is
Just
true.
imagine selecting one picture out of 10 and selecting one picture out of 100.
That's true.
That is true.
It takes a bit of effort. So that's the reason.
More efficient.
Yes.
And okay, we speak a little bit about, since you mentioned that you didn't edit it, it's more into just color saturations. Does lenses or type of camera actually influence such picture taking?
Some cameras definitely support certain colors. Like I use a Nikon 810. I'm a big fan of that. And what it does is it highlights yellow and green colors for me. And what you can see is in this image also, the yellows and the greens are standing out so distinctively.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, interesting. All right, now next up, you also have another one called the futuristic. Yeah, can we have a look at the futuristic photograph? Is this futuristic?
Oh, yes, this is
futuristic. Tell us about this, though. This looks
this is my first shot out of Singapore, which has been featured in National Geographic. Okay, now Singapore as a country, you again imagine as a very futuristic country. It's like grown very fast.
New,
and then
modern,
you see,
that's right.
Yeah, very contemporary. And you see huge buildings, skyscrapers. But this is an artist's depiction. This is my depiction of how futuristic of Singapore looks like. This is an artifact of art in the Arts and Science Museum in Singapore. What I did is I just got two human elements just to show how we as humans interact with the futuristic part of the whole creation. So this is my representation.
This is also just color saturated, yeah?
Yes, this is color saturated.
This is very nice. And
very classy looking, but you have a mixture of classy of the two people there, and then you have a mixture of the, and then you have the surrounding of futuristic, the colorful surrounding.
And this one, could you tell us a bit about this one?
This is what, omnipresent.
This is very close to my heart. Yes, this I call omnipresent. This is out of Indonesia, and this is Mount Bromo.
Mount Bromo, okay, yeah.
The reason I shot is, now this guy is praying over there. Okay, and the reason I call this omnipresent is, you do not go to a mosque or a temple or a church to pray. If you connect with your God, you can connect with your God anywhere. And he's connecting with Allah at that moment of time. So with a volcano at the backdrop, this could not have been a better representation of God's creation and his connection with his God.
Did you tell them that you were going to take a picture, or no?
No, this was a very candid
So is it very from your heart as well, yeah?
Yes, because I believe that there's a lot of peace and solace which comes from praying per se. So I definitely like to capture this kind
So
of
would you say that your concept of work more into candid, or
So as of now, I've been doing mostly candid. Landscape can always be candid.
That's true. You don't need to, someone's like, hey, you just stand over there, or pretend that you're doing something.
Except one image which I remember, which I call the Yetis of Nepal.
What is
with a man whose face.
That was on the National Geography.
National
That's what I
and
see.
then it made to the World Post, and it made to almost 4 continents across the world. I had been to trek the Mount Everest, and you know the unfortunate earthquake which happened in Nepal. So I was unable to trek, and then I came back. When I came back, I was in Kathmandu, and then I was taken to this temple where a lot of dead bodies were burned.
Wow.
And then there's this clan of people who are called as the Aghoris. And they're called Aghoris because they sit near the dead. They take the bones and everything which is the remains after the body is burned. And nobody photographs them, nobody goes to them because they're not considered very lucky. And this is a dying clan because nobody prefers to shoot them. They don't earn a lot of money, so the future generation doesn't want to come in this.
So they don't want to be them either, so it just dies there. It's not... There's no, like, no one actually
carrying forward
legacy.
the whole
That's
thing,
true,
the legacy. So the idea that I had is, if I can capture this image and show to the world of what these people are, what this culture and race is, and if someone really wakes up to them and takes care of them, then it's a nice turnover point.
So they do actually come with that, colorful. Is that a sign for?
No,
is it
it's
a
because
symbol?
since you don't appreciate me, look at my colors and start appreciating me. Right? So at least I'm standing out in some possible way, and making my stance.
Well, that's very interesting, Day. Okay, now. One last one, scars of labor. So you have that as well, the scars of labor. Is that? Okay.
Now this is again
this
out
one
of
looks
Indonesia.
very deep though.
Yes.
Also in
Where's
Indonesia.
This is Mount Ijen, Ijen crater. Now the reason this has been featured in National Geographic. The reason this is again close to my heart is you know what kind of hardship these people go and what kind of monies they are paid. And this is all sulfur. When we go to shoot for around 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we are all masked. But you can really connect with them that. Their lives are short in this kind of scenario. The reason I shot this was to show what kind of hardship they are going through and what we can do as responsible citizens to really elevate their situation or to give them a better life.
But the question is, sometimes what makes me curious, basically, how would you know where to go sometimes,
If
like,
you
for
don't do
example,
research.
well, I mean, you mentioned that you don't do research, but to have that feeling or to have that chemistry where I'm going to go to Mount Bromo or I'm going to go to this, where to?
Look, I'll tell you. Mount Bromo is a destination where you can land. But the shot which I took of the image, that can't come through the research. Okay. So Ijen, you can land. But the shot that you're taking can't land through research. Because what do you see when you see pictures of Ijen? You see the blue flame. And most of the tourists go there during the blue flame, see the blue flame, and by the time these workers come, they're out of the place. Now, if you do research, you will end in blue flame. You may not end in the image which you are seeing. When you are doing research, you will see the sunrise in Mount Bromo, not the praying horsemen in Mount Bromo.
So you get to
So it has to be spontaneous and just something that you see on the spot, and it really touches your heart, and that's where you click. Okay, now last one, we have seraphic, seraphic picture.
So this is the image we spoke about, the Gladiator movie. So this was the house of Russell Crowe in Gladiator, in Tuscany, in Italy.
Che bella, bellissima.
And you look about this. How did you manage? You were on a helicopter for this, though.
No. So
not everything from a helicopter, right? Or is this a drone? Do you use drone by chance?
I was staying in an agriturismo. So agriturismos are like hotels where managed by families. So that was on a higher platform.
Oh, no wonder.
And this was the view from my window.
Wow! Imagine waking up to that view.
This is not a painting, right?
No, that's not a painting.
It looks like a painting.
See, everything here looks like a painting.
Thank you very much.
Because what's your next plan after this, Mohsin? I mean, still into landscape for sure?
So I want to explore Indonesia a lot.
Okay.
Indonesia.
Yeah, for sure. So I have done Mount Bromo, I've done Ijen, I've done Yogyakarta, roughly for around 10 days. And I love this country. Amazing people, great places to shoot. So the next couple of months I'll be focusing mostly on Indonesia, Medan, Makassar, Rajamala,
There's a lot of
and all the
places to go to in Indonesia. That's
in Indonesia, and then let's see what's come looking forward.
What comes next for you? Yeah, maybe you will move on from landscaping to something else, and maybe we'll see a lot more of you.
You know, the kind of love of people I have for Indonesia, you never know. I can start shooting a lot of human
There you go.
nature.
Well, Mohsin, we look forward to seeing what's
Thank you
ahead
very
for
much.
you, and also a lot more of your beautiful photographs. Yeah,
Thank you
and
very
have fun in Indonesia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohsin.
Thank
That
you
was
very
really
much.